Welcome to Rare Breed Brotherhood. A man who masters himself can conquer anything. Life doesn't care about your plans. One moment everything is steady, and the next, you're thrown into chaos. When a Sigma male faces survival mode, whether from betrayal, financial collapse, or unexpected disaster, he doesn't complain or seek help. He adapts, strategizes, and moves forward like a lone wolf in a storm. Unlike alphas who rally groups or betas who seek guidance, the Sigma male turns inward. He becomes sharper, colder, and more calculating. He cuts out distractions, abandons weak ties, and focuses on what truly matters, survival and reinvention. He's not interested in pity or validation. He's interested in results. Survival mode isn't just about enduring hardship, it's about transformation. A Sigma male doesn't just survive, he evolves. He learns from pain, uses setbacks as fuel, and emerges stronger than before. He doesn't need a safety net because he is the safety net. If you're going through tough times, understand this: the world won't wait for you to figure things out. Either you adapt or you get left behind. But here's the good news: you have everything you need inside you. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You just need action. In this video, we'll break down exactly what happens when a Sigma male enters survival mode, how he thinks, moves, and reshapes his destiny. If you're ready to take control, watch till the end. This could be the wake-up call you need. Number 1. Cold-blooded decision-making. The Sigma's edge in survival mode. When a Sigma male enters survival mode, there is no room for hesitation, doubt, or unnecessary emotions. Every decision becomes a calculated move, like a chess master thinking 5 steps ahead. He doesn't indulge in wishful thinking, nor does he let fear cloud his judgment. Instead, he strips away everything that doesn't serve his survival and future success. Most people struggle with difficult choices because they get caught up in emotions, guilt, nostalgia, or the fear of what others might think. A Sigma male doesn't have that problem. He understands a hard truth. Emotions can be manipulated, but logic never lies. That's why, when faced with a tough decision, he doesn't ask, "How do I feel about this?" He asks, "What needs to be done?" And then he does it. Ruthlessly, efficiently, and without looking back. This doesn't mean he's heartless. It means he's focused. If a toxic relationship is draining him, he walks away without explanation. If an opportunity isn't serving him, he moves on without regret. If a plan fails, he pivots immediately rather than wasting time blaming circumstances. Cold-blooded decision-making is what separates the Sigma from the rest. Where others hesitate, he acts. Where others drown in doubt, he adapts. And that's why, when the storm passes and the dust settles, he's not just still standing, he's miles ahead. If you've ever felt stuck, held back by fear or emotions, take a page from the Sigma playbook. Strip it all down to one question. What's the smartest move right now? Make that move, then another, and another. Before you know it, you won't just be surviving, you'll be unstoppable. Number 2, adaptive camouflage, the Sigma's invisible power. A Sigma male in survival mode is like a shadow, always present but never fully seen. He doesn't announce his plans, reveal his strengths, or let anyone figure him out. Instead, he adapts, blending into his surroundings like a chameleon. This isn't deception, it's strategy. Unlike alphas who dominate openly or betas who follow the crowd, the Sigma moves in silence. If he's in a hostile environment, he knows better than to challenge the system head-on. Instead, he plays along, just enough to avoid drawing attention. If he's in a room full of egos, he lets them believe they're in control while he gathers information. If a situation calls for patience, he disappears into the background, watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. This is why people often underestimate a Sigma male. They mistake his quiet nature for weakness, his calm demeanor for submission. They don't realize that he's studying them, mapping out their strengths and weaknesses. And by the time they do, it's already too late. He's positioned himself exactly where he needs to be. But here's the real power of adaptive camouflage. It keeps him untouchable. When you don't reveal your full intentions, no one can sabotage you. When you don't show all your skills, no one knows what you're truly capable of. When you know how to blend in, you can move freely, gathering resources, learning, and setting yourself up for the ultimate win. If you've ever felt like the world is watching, waiting for you to slip up, take a lesson from the Sigma playbook. Step back, observe, adjust. Let them think they know you while you quietly position yourself for success. And when the time is right, you won't just survive, you'll emerge as the one they never saw coming. Number 3. Laser-focused resourcefulness. The Sigma's ability to turn nothing into something. A Sigma male in survival mode doesn't waste time complaining about what he doesn't have. He gets creative with what he does have. If resources are limited, he doesn't panic or freeze up like the average person. He sees every challenge as a puzzle to solve, every obstacle as an opportunity to think differently. No money? He finds a way to trade skills, leverage connections, or create value where others see none. No shelter? He assesses his surroundings and adapts, whether that means couch surfing, sleeping in his car, or using his network to secure a temporary base. No clear path forward? He carves one out himself, moving strategically, learning quickly, and making the most of every tool at his disposal. This kind of thinking separates the Sigma from the weak. While others complain that the odds are against them, he takes action. He doesn't let excuses define his reality because he understands a brutal truth. No one is coming to save him. He is his own safety net, his own problem solver, his own provider. A Sigma male thrives in chaos because he knows that survival isn't about having the most resources. It's about knowing how to use what's available in the smartest way possible. He doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He makes the imperfect work for him. And while others hesitate, drowning in self-doubt, he moves forward, always one step ahead. If you've ever felt stuck, thinking you don't have enough money, connections, or resources to change your situation, ask yourself, are you really out of options, or are you just thinking too small? The Sigma mindset forces you to break free from limitations, adapt to your circumstances, and create opportunities where none seem to exist. Because in the end, survival isn't about what you have. It's about what you do with what you have. And that's why the Sigma male always finds a way. Number 4. Culling the herd. The Sigma's unforgiving rule. A Sigma male doesn't carry dead weight. He has no time for unreliable people, fake friends, or disloyal allies. If someone proves weak, untrustworthy, or a liability, he removes them from his life permanently. No warnings, no second chances. This isn't cruelty, it's survival. The world is filled with people who drag others down, people who make promises they don't keep, who fold under pressure, who talk big but deliver nothing. A Sigma sees through the excuses, the empty words, the patterns of failure. And he knows one simple truth. Keeping the wrong people around is a slow form of self-destruction. When a Sigma enters survival mode, his tolerance for nonsense drops to 0. He cuts ties with toxic relationships, unreliable partners, and anyone who drains his energy. He doesn't argue, explain, or seek closure. He just disappears. One day they're in his life, the next, they're gone, and they never see it coming. This ability to walk away is what makes him powerful. Most people cling to bad relationships out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of confrontation, fear of the unknown. But a Sigma fears stagnation more than loneliness. He would rather stand alone with his integrity intact than be surrounded by weak links who will betray or slow him down when it matters most. If you've ever felt trapped by unreliable people, ask yourself, are they an asset or are they a weight around my neck? The Sigma male never asks twice. If someone shows they can't be trusted, they're out. No emotions, no regrets. Because in the end, survival isn't about who you hold on to. It's about who you're willing to let go. Number 5, tactical aggression, the Sigma's silent but lethal response. A Sigma male is not reckless, loud, or overly aggressive, but when he strikes, it's swift, calculated, and devastating. He doesn't waste energy on unnecessary battles. He doesn't get baited into pointless arguments or power struggles. But if he's forced to act, he ensures his response is so effective that the problem never resurfaces. Unlike the Alpha, who thrives on dominance and public confrontation, the Sigma prefers to operate in the shadows. His aggression isn't wild, it's tactical. He waits, observes, and chooses the perfect moment to make his move. While others are predictable, reacting out of anger or frustration, the Sigma male remains patient. He lets his enemies underestimate him, lets them think he's passive, lets them believe they've won, right up until the moment he strikes. And when he does, it's already too late for them to recover. Tactical aggression isn't about violence, it's about strategy. It's knowing when to act and how to deliver the maximum impact with the least effort. Sometimes it's a decisive conversation that shuts down a manipulator. Sometimes it's a career move that leaves a rival obsolete. Sometimes it's a simple act of walking away, denying someone the reaction or attention they crave. Whatever the method, the Sigma always ensures his response ends the conflict on his terms. This ability to strike only when necessary makes him dangerous. Most people waste energy fighting battles that don't matter. The Sigma, he fights only when it's worth it, and when he does, he makes sure he never has to fight the same battle twice. If you've ever been in a situation where someone took advantage of your patience or mistook your silence for weakness, remember this: you don't have to react immediately. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. But when the time is right, make your move so effectively that they never dare challenge you again. Because a Sigma male never seeks war. But if war comes to him, he ends it decisively. Number 6. Becoming a shadow player, the Sigma's invisible grip on power. A Sigma male doesn't crave the spotlight, nor does he need recognition to validate his worth. Instead, he operates from the shadows, pulling strings while others remain clueless about his true influence. He isn't interested in being the face of power. He's interested in controlling it. While alphas fight to be on top, seeking attention and dominance, the Sigma plays a different game entirely. He lets others think they're in charge, lets them soak up the credit, lets them believe they're making the big decisions, all while subtly guiding the outcomes in his favor. He understands that the most powerful man in the room is often the one nobody suspects. A Sigma male's strength lies in his ability to observe, predict, and manipulate circumstances without drawing attention to himself. He watches how people react, studies their weaknesses, and positions himself accordingly. If he needs to influence someone, he does it subtly, planting ideas, nudging decisions, or creating situations that naturally lead people toward the result he wants. This is why people often underestimate him. He's not loud. He doesn't boast. He doesn't demand respect. Yet somehow things always seem to go his way. By the time others realize what's happened, the game is already over, and he's the one holding all the cards. Becoming a shadow player isn't about deception. It's about intelligence. It's about understanding that real control isn't about being seen. It's about being felt. A Sigma male knows that power isn't in the title, the fame, or the attention. It's an influence, and influence is best wielded from a position of quiet control. If you've ever felt like you need to be loud to be heard, or at the front to lead, think again. The Sigma path is different. Move in silence, observe everything, influence from the shadows. Because the most powerful moves are the ones no one sees coming. Number 7. Erasing his past, the Sigma's ultimate escape. When a Sigma male enters true survival mode, he doesn't just move on, he disappears. He erases all traces of his former self, cutting ties, deleting history, and making it impossible for anyone to track, manipulate, or control him. He understands that sometimes the best way to win is to vanish entirely and rebuild from the shadows. Most people cling to their past. They stay in the same circles, hold on to old identities, and remain chained to mistakes, toxic relationships, or outdated versions of themselves. Not the Sigma. If his past becomes a liability, if it threatens his freedom, his growth, or his survival, he eliminates it without hesitation. He may change locations, drop certain habits, switch careers, or even alter his entire persona. He stops engaging with people who no longer serve his vision. He leaves behind environments that limit him. He removes digital footprints, shuts down social media, and ensures that no one, not enemies, not ex-friends, not even old allies, can predict his next move. This isn't about fear. It's about control. The Sigma male refuses to be tied down by his history. He won't allow others to use his past against him, to hold him to old mistakes, or to expect him to remain the same. He evolves on his terms, leaving nothing behind that could be used to pull him back. By the time people realize he's gone, he's already operating on a whole new level. While they're looking for the man they used to know, he's building a future they'll never see coming. If you've ever felt stuck, ask yourself, Is it time to erase what no longer serves me? The Sigma male knows that true freedom isn't just about moving forward. It's about making sure nothing from the past can hold him back. Because sometimes survival isn't about fighting. It's about disappearing, re-emerging, and becoming untouchable. Number 8. Psychological reprogramming, the Sigma's ability to reinvent himself. A Sigma male isn't shackled by his past, his upbringing, or society's expectations. He understands that the mind is both a weapon and a prison, and he refuses to let his own mind hold him back. When survival demands change, he doesn't hesitate. He strips away outdated beliefs, eliminates fears, and detaches from anything that no longer serves him. He doesn't just adapt, he reprograms himself from the ground up. Most people cling to their identities, even when those identities are dragging them down. They hold on to limiting beliefs, toxic attachments, and irrational fears because they feel safe in familiarity. The Sigma? He has no loyalty to the past. If a mindset is no longer useful, he discards it. If an emotion is holding him back, he rewires his thinking to remove it. If an attachment makes him vulnerable, he cuts the cord without regret. This is what makes him so unpredictable. One day, he might seem like the quiet observer. The next, he's the strategist who dominates the board. If the situation requires aggression, he becomes ruthless. If it demands patience, he becomes unshakable. If it calls for total reinvention, he burns his old self to the ground and emerges as someone entirely new. Psychological reprogramming isn't about pretending to be someone else. It's about becoming the strongest version of himself, no matter the cost. He doesn't let fear, comfort, or nostalgia dictate his actions. He conditions his mind to serve him, not control him. If you've ever felt trapped by your own thoughts, ask yourself, are my beliefs serving me, or am I serving them? The Sigma male knows the answer. He reprograms, reinvents, and adapts until nothing can stop him. Because survival isn't about who you were. It's about who you choose to become. Number 9. Using failure as fuel. The Sigma's relentless comeback. A Sigma male doesn't fear failure. He uses it. While most people see setbacks as proof that they're not good enough, he sees them as nothing more than raw data, valuable information that tells him exactly what went wrong and how to fix it. Failure isn't a stop sign for him, it's a blueprint for success. Most people crumble under failure. They let it shake their confidence, drain their motivation, and make them question themselves. But the Sigma, he doesn't waste time on self-pity. Instead, he studies every misstep like a scientist. What did he overlook? Where was the weak link? What strategy failed? He dissects the experience, extracts the lesson, and then recalibrates. When he comes back, he's not just better, he's unrecognizable. This ability makes him dangerous. When an average person fails, they hesitate before trying again. When a Sigma fails, he returns to the game so evolved that no one even sees him coming. He doesn't repeat mistakes, he eliminates them. Every loss refines him. Every setback sharpens his edge. Every failure fuels his next move. People underestimate this mindset because they assume failure equals weakness. But the truth is, the strongest individuals aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who rise smarter every single time. The Sigma male embodies this philosophy completely. He doesn't let failure define him. He lets it build him. If you've ever let failure hold you back, ask yourself, did I truly lose, or did I just stop before I learned? A Sigma male never stops. He takes the hit, absorbs the lesson, and comes back so refined that the obstacles that once stood in his way are now beneath him. Because in the end, failure doesn't break the Sigma, it creates him. Number 10. Brutal honesty with himself. The Sigma's relentless self-awareness. A Sigma male has no time for self-deception. He doesn't sugarcoat his flaws, doesn't make excuses, and doesn't indulge in self-pity. If he's weak, he strengthens. If he's wrong, he corrects. No delusions, no justifications, just pure, unfiltered truth. Most people lie to themselves. They create comforting narratives to avoid facing reality. They blame others, make excuses, or convince themselves that things will magically improve without effort. The Sigma, he refuses to play that game. If his life isn't where he wants it to be, he doesn't waste time complaining. He takes responsibility and fixes it. This level of self-honesty is brutal, but it's also liberating. It means he's never a prisoner of his own ego. He doesn't cling to bad habits just because they're comfortable. He doesn't hold on to toxic people just because they're familiar. He cuts through all the noise and faces the raw truth of who he is and where he needs to improve. And here's what makes it so powerful. Because he's honest with himself, no one else can manipulate him with lies. No one can guilt-trip him with false narratives. No one can break him with criticism because he's already confronted every weakness on his own terms. The world has no leverage over a man who sees himself exactly as he is. If you've ever felt stuck, ask yourself, am I telling myself the truth? The Sigma male never waits for reality to slap him in the face. He confronts it head-on. Because the truth might be harsh, but once you accept it, you can change it. And the Sigma, he changes what must be changed without hesitation. Number 11. Learning from ghosts, the Sigma's weaponized wisdom. A Sigma male doesn't just learn from his own mistakes, he learns from everyone's mistakes. He studies history, observes psychological patterns, and analyzes past failures, both his own and those of others. He knows that life leaves behind clues, and only a fool ignores them. Most people stumble through life blindly, repeating the same errors over and over. They get burned in toxic relationships but never analyze why they fell for them in the first place. They fail in business or personal pursuits but blame bad luck instead of dissecting the real cause. The Sigma, he refuses to be that ignorant. Every failure, whether his own or someone else's, is an opportunity to decode life's patterns and adjust his strategy accordingly. He studies historical downfalls, understanding why great leaders fell, why empires crumbled, why people who once had everything lost it all. He dissects human psychology, recognizing how emotions, biases, and habits drive people's actions. He watches those around him, noting how arrogance leads to downfall, how unchecked emotions lead to chaos, how ignoring red flags leads to disaster. And because of this, he sees what others don't. He anticipates mistakes before they happen. He sidesteps traps before they're sprung. This is what makes him appear almost untouchable. While others learn only through personal pain, he learns by observing, by studying, by reading between the lines. He lets the ghosts of the past, his own and those of history, be his teachers, ensuring he never falls into the same pitfalls. If you've ever found yourself repeating old mistakes, ask yourself, did I truly learn, or did I just move on without reflection? A Sigma male never moves blindly. He absorbs the lesson, stores it deep in his mind, and ensures that when life tries to test him again, he's already 3 steps ahead. Because in the end, wisdom isn't about experience alone. It's about paying attention to the lessons that history leaves behind. And a Sigma? He never ignores the whispers of the past. The Sigma male in survival mode, the birth of the unbreakable. When a Sigma male enters survival mode, he is no longer playing by the world's rules. He is rewriting them. He detaches from anything that weakens him, hardens his mind, and sharpens his instincts. He does not beg for help, does not seek sympathy, and does not announce his struggles. He simply disappears into his own world and transforms in silence. By the time he emerges, he is no longer the same man. The softness is gone. The distractions have been stripped away. The emotional chains that once held him back have been shattered. He has become something rare, a man who needs nothing from anyone, yet has the power to shape his own world. This is what makes him dangerous, not in a reckless, aggressive way, but in the fact that he is completely self-sufficient. He does not fear failure because he has learned to use it. He does not fear loss because he has mastered detachment. He does not fear enemies because he has studied them long before they even realized he was watching. A Sigma in survival mode is a man who has faced his own darkness and emerged unshaken. He has learned the lessons most people avoid. He has embraced the pain most people run from, and because of this, he is untouchable. Not because he is invincible, but because nothing external has power over him anymore. If you are facing a challenge, if you feel like the odds are against you, understand this. Your survival mode is not the end. It is the beginning of your evolution. The struggle is not there to break you. It is there to remake you. Step back, rebuild, cut what must be cut, strengthen what must be strengthened, and when you return, return as a man that no one, not the world, not your past, not your enemies, can control. Because survival mode is not about enduring, it is about becoming. Thank you for watching. God bless you.